Conditionals and optionals. In the last chapter, you looked at data types, constants and variables, and operations. At this point, you are able to write simple programs that process letters and numbers. However, in many cases, programs are not linear, which is to say they don't always proceed in sequence. Oftentimes, you will need to execute different instructions based on a condition. Swift allows you to do this by using conditionals, and you will learn how to use them in this chapter. Another thing you may have noticed is that in the last chapter, each variable or constant was immediately assigned a value. If What if you require a variable where the value may not be present initially? You will need a way to create a variable that may or may not have a value. Swift allows you to do this by using optionals, and you will also learn about them in this chapter. By the end of this chapter, you should be able to write programs that do different things based on different conditions and to handle variables that may or may not have a value. The following topics will be covered: introducing conditionals, introducing optionals. Please spend some time understanding optionals. They can be daunting for the novice programmer. Let's start out by creating a new project. And I want either one of these options. New playground. And then blank. I'm going to title this conditionals and optionals. All right, so to open up a new playground, I clicked on File, New, Playground. Introducing conditionals. At times, you want to execute different code blocks based on a conditional, such as in the following scenarios. Choosing between different room types at a hotel, the room price for bigger rooms would be higher. Switching between different payment methods at an online store, procedures for different payments methods would be different. Or deciding what to order at a fast food restaurant. Preparation procedures for each food item would be different. To do this, you would use conditionals. In Swift, this is implemented using if and switch statements. Let's look at them now. For more information on conditionals, you can visit the URL on the screen. Using if statements. A basic if statement looks like this. If your condition, then you have your code. The code in the curly braces is executed if the condition is true. Let's implement an if statement now to see this in action. Type and Type in and run the following code. If statements execute, code in curly braces in the if statement is true. If statements execute, code in curly braces if the condition is true. So let is picture visible equals true. If the value is changed to false, nothing would be printed. If is picture visible, let's go ahead and run the code. So I execute it. It may take a few seconds or minutes to compile. And here we have the results. Picture is visible. Here I am going to run the same code in program IZ. And picture is visible. And now let's execute this code under a Linux environment. So first I list it. I've got my conditionals.swift. So this is the first time I'm running it. I need to change the permissions and give it execute permissions. Okay, now it's got execute permissions and I can execute. And there you go. Picture is visible. First, you created a constant, is picture visible, and assigned true to it. Next, you have an if statement that checks the value stored in is picture visible. Since the value is true, the print statement is executed, and the picture is visible is printed in the debug area. Try changing the value of is picture visible to false and run your code again. As the condition is now false, nothing will be printed. You can also execute statements if a condition is false. Type in and run the following code. Let is restaurant found equals false, and if is restaurants found is not false, print restaurant was not found. Here we have it running under program IZ. And now I'm going to execute the same program under this Linux system. So let me just save the file, switch over to the environment, and picture is visible, restaurant was not found. The constant is restaurant found is set to false. Next, the if statement is checked. The if is restaurant found is equal to false condition returns true, and restaurant was not found is printed in the debug area. Try changing the value of is restaurant found to true and run your code again. As the condition is now false, nothing will be printed. What if you want to do one set of statements if a condition is true and another set of statements if a condition is false? You use the else keyword. Type in and run the following code. Let drinking age limit equal 21, var customer age equals 19. If customer age less than drinking age limit, print under age limit, else print over age limit. Here, drinking age limit is assigned the value 21, and customer age is assigned the value 19. In the if statement, customer age is less than drinking age limit is checked. Since 19 is less than 21, returns true, under age limit is printed in the debug area. If you change customer age value to 22, customer age is less than drinking age limit will return false. So over age limit will be printed in the debug area. Up to now, you have only been dealing with a single conditional. What if there are multiple conditions? That's where switch statements come in, and you will see them in the next section.